If you're looking for inspiration and how to make money from your photography in 2022, then this is the video for you. Welcome, my name is Stephen. I'm a landscape photographer based in New Zealand. And in today's video, we're going to be going through and taking a look at how am I going to make money out of my photography in 2022. Now, if you didn't watch my previous video where I talked about why I quit my job to pursue my dream of becoming a full-time photographer, then you might want to go and watch that video first, and I'll post a link and it'll crop up just here somewhere, and that's a nice preamble to this video. So if you watched my previous video, then you're probably fully aware that all my money over the last 10 years has come from that career, and I've actually earned very little from my photography. All the equipment, this property that we built, my camera equipment, my vehicle, my tools that I use to create photography have all been funded by that career, and I'm very lucky to have been able to do that, and I totally recognise that I am probably more fortunate than many people and that are possibly watching this video. So for the reasons that I talked about in my previous video to this one, I'm no longer in that career that I earn a really good salary in, and I'm now moving into photography, which is something I'm really passionate about and actually earn very little from. And just to put that in perspective, I've actually noted down some numbers here. So there's actually 3 revenue streams that I actually make money from right now from my photography. The first one is obviously YouTube. The second one is affiliate links, so things like Amazon, etc., eBay. And the other one is presets that I have for sale in my store on my website. And last year, over the last 12 months, I earned 852 New Zealand dollars from YouTube. And from my affiliate links, last year I earned 150 New Zealand dollars. And the presets, which quite interestingly only went live about a month ago, I've made 130 New Zealand dollars. So essentially, over 2021, I made 1,132 New Zealand dollars from my photography, which is a bit of a sad story when you think about it, but it's a start, and it's a good start. And I think it's important to recognise that at least I'm actually making something from my photography, and there's things on there that I can actually build on and grow and make better. And I think it's really important to think about that and focus on that. So how am I going to improve my photography revenue streams in 2022? Well, I've made a bit of a mind map here, and it's got 9 key areas that I've identified, and there's different subjects within those key areas that I can work on. And I'm going to put this up on the screen, and we're going to talk to them, and hopefully it will help some people who are thinking about doing this or are doing this right now. So there are 9 areas that I have identified that will impact the revenue that I make in 2022. So the first passive income stream to talk about is obviously YouTube. Now, I've been doing YouTube now for about 2 or 3 years, and it's taken some time to get my channel built up. About a year ago, I was about 2,000 subscribers, and now I'm approaching 4,000 subscribers. And YouTube is really good. It's not only is it a passive income stream, but it's also a really good marketing tool. You know, you can go out and create a video, and it gives people a bit of an insight into who you are, and it just helps people connect with you more. And for 2022, YouTube will definitely be part of my revenue stream toolkit. So the second passive income to talk about is affiliate links, and I use 2 affiliate link streams. The first one is Amazon, and the second one is eBay. And basically, if I talk about equipment on my website, in my blog, then I will use affiliate links. And these affiliate links are great because it helps people to find where they can purchase this equipment. They can go in and see some more details about the equipment, the specifications, what it looks like. And they can also see the price of the equipment. And if they choose to purchase something using that affiliate link, then I just get a small commission amount. And it's not a lot. And just to put that into perspective, there was $3,000 worth of purchases using my affiliate links last year on Amazon, and I made 150 New Zealand dollars from that. So the third passive income that I think is really useful is Lightroom and Photoshop presets. They're really easy to make, and I recently made some, and they are colour presets that replicate slide film, being Kodak Ektachrome, Fuji Velvia 50 and Fuji Pro V100, and they're available for sale on my website right now, and you can head over to my website and look at them if you want to, and I'll leave a link in the description down below if you want to go and check those out. But yeah, if you're looking to create a really easy passive income stream, Lightroom and Photoshop presets are really easy to make. The fourth passive income stream that I think is worth looking at is video tutorials. Now, I don't yet have video tutorials for sale on my website, but it's definitely part of my plan to do that. I want to create some video tutorials that essentially help people understand how I do my photography so that they can learn from that and improve their photography. So it's going to be something that's coming out in the future. So the second income stream we're going to talk about is books. Now, I think books or even zines are a great way of showcasing your best photos to your followers. And I've got a couple of books that I'm currently working on at the minute. And the one that's the closest to being finished is called Volcanic Aotearoa, and that's a book about geothermal and volcanic landscape in New Zealand, and I put up a couple of sample photos of the designs that I've been working on, and I'm really excited about this book. It's really starting to take shape, and I can't wait to put it up for sale on my website. I've got another book that I'm working on in the background, which is called Hiding in the Fog, which basically tries to capture objects of nature, primarily trees, in fog. And there's a third book, In the Wind, which is about sand dunes or deserts up in the far north of New Zealand. And there's these really remote areas in New Zealand where there's these huge sand dunes. And over the last couple of years, I've been photographing those. And then the fourth book that I'm going to work on is about New Zealand's west coast. And New Zealand's west coast is well known for being rugged and it has black sand. And I've got a few images in my collection already on that one. And all those collections that I've just talked about are available to view on my website right now. If you want to go over and have a look at my gallery, you can go and see all the images that I've created so far for these 4 books. There is another book that I've got in the pipeline for the future, which I haven't started working on yet because I have to spend all my time in the South Island to create this book. And it's a book that tries to capture the glaciers of New Zealand. The glaciers in New Zealand are melting, and it's something that I think they must be photographed to remember them. Something that I think is of importance to New Zealand and national significance. And I'm really excited about this project. And hopefully we're going to be starting that in December, all being well, as long as the lockdowns in New Zealand stop. So yeah, books. I think if you have a good collection of images, a cohesive collection, a collection of images that have a common theme or a story, then why don't you consider creating a book about those images? Go out and get yourself a designer, get some quotes from bookmakers, and have a real good think about making books, because I think there's nothing better than showcasing your work in a book to your viewers. So the third revenue stream we're going to talk about is grants. Now, there's 2 types of grants that I've identified that are relevant for me, and the first one is crowdfunding. Now, the books that I've just talked about, the first one, Volcanic Aotearoa, my first book, I need to fund that book. I need to get it made. And I'm seriously considering crowdfunding to fund that book, primarily Kickstarter, or there's a New Zealand-based one called Boosted. And I just want to run that by you. I want you to give me some feedback on that. Would you buy one of my books through crowdfunding source? And the third way that I could actually sell my book is I could actually just list them for sale on my website and sell them that way, as in a pre-sale, and just sell them. And once I've sold a reasonable amount that I can use to fund the printing of the book, then I can go ahead and get it printed. So yeah, should I use crowdfunding for my book, or should I sell them on my website until I reach an amount that I can afford to go and pay for the book? Give me some comments, let me know what you think. But yeah, crowdfunding is a great way of generating revenue streams to fund art projects. It doesn't necessarily need just to be books, it can be a number of things. It can be funding, getting some of your artwork printed so that you can host it in the gallery, paying for the gallery fees, etc. So yeah, crowdfunding is definitely something that I think as an artist you should be looking at. So the second type of grant scheme we're going to look at is government and lottery funded grant schemes. Now, there's an institution in New Zealand called Creative New Zealand. They're essentially, I think, a charity, and they receive funding from various funding streams, and they use that funding to fund artists, to fund projects of national significance, to fund other artists who are helping other artists to build careers. And this is something that I see myself being involved in. I've got some projects in the pipeline that I think are of national significance, and there are some projects that I think I will need help with. So I will frame up some of these projects in a way that I can go to Creative New Zealand and request some funding. And I would imagine that there are similar institutions across the world that do the same sort of thing. So it's worth looking at. If you're looking at ways to create revenue, then have a look at government-funded and lottery-funded grant schemes in your country. So the fourth revenue stream we're going to talk about is print sales. And this is something that I've been very busy working on the last couple of weeks. Now, if you have a collection of images in your portfolio that you're very proud of, then you definitely should consider selling these. Over the last few weeks, I've been working on my portfolio, trying to get them ready for sale. And very soon I'm going to be listing them for sale on my website. And there will be 3 types of prints that are available for sale. There will be an unlimited version. And these are basically images that I've selected that are not my best work, but I think are print worthy. And they will be unlimited, meaning that for, I don't know, maybe 12 months, they will be available for sale as an unlimited run. And then there'll be single limited edition runs. And these are my best single images, and they will be for sale as a limited run. I haven't yet decided on the limit. It will possibly be 8 prints per image. And then the third type of print that I'll be selling is a limited collection of 3. So this is essentially 3 images in my collection that I think are cohesive, that I will sell as one, and there will be a limited run in a similar limited run that I've got for my single images. So for all my international print sales, I'm going to be using a print fulfillment service, and I'm teaming up with a crowd in the UK called the Print Space. They've got a print shop in the UK, but they've also got a print shop in Germany, and they're also setting up a print shop in America, and there's possibly some other areas where they're setting up as well. I recently ordered some samples from them. They sent me some of my images printed on the papers that I use, and I'm really happy with the results. And they also offer worldwide shipping for $7, which I think is really reasonable. So the second type of print sale that we're going to look at is print sales from galleries. Now, this is something that I have no experience in yet. It's probably a bit of a shortfall on my part. I haven't put any effort in to networking with galleries whatsoever. And it's something that I've totally recognised as a bit of a weakness on my part, and it's something that I need to improve on. So over the next 12 months, I'm definitely going to be putting a lot of work into networking with galleries, with a view of them showcasing my work and selling my work in their gallery, and they would take a commission and details of that to be worked out. But I think if you're looking to sell your prints, then you should definitely be looking at gallery sales. And my advice to you is that when you are traveling around the countries that you're photographing, spend some time just getting familiar with the galleries in those areas and try and go and see them, build a bit of relationship with them. And then once you return home, just keep that relationship open, share your work with them, and then hopefully at some point they will showcase your work. So yeah, check out the galleries from where you visit. So the third type of print sale we're going to look at is privately commissioned work. Essentially a key landmark, an object of the landscape that you want photographing. You can essentially commission me to go and photograph that for you for a price, and I will go out and photograph that for you and then hand over the work to you. And it's not something I see as being a massive revenue maker in my business case at the minute, but I think it's something that's worth advertising, because if somebody wants me to go out and photograph something, maybe it's an international client, they want me to go and photograph Mount Cook, for example, they can commission me to go and do that, and I will go and do that for a fee. So I think it's something that I could quite easily set up, and if somebody wants to use it, then they can. And it's something that you could quite easily set up as well, so consider it if you want to do so for your business plan. And the fifth revenue stream we're going to talk about is tutorials. Very soon I'm going to be listing on my website one-to-one tutorials. So essentially, if you have a photography learning need and you think I can help you with that need, then essentially you can book me for a one-to-one sessions, and they will be available online, or if you are based in New Zealand or if you are coming to New Zealand, then you can book me and we can have an in-person one-to-one. And this is something I think I can set up quite easily. I'm going to set it up in a way that when you book it online, there is a questionnaire that you will answer that will give me some information that I can use to determine your learning needs. And then from that, I will set up a kind of program of online learning that we can work on together to improve your photography. And if you're a photographer who's looking to create some revenue streams and you're confident in your skill sets and you have the ability to teach people about your skills, then tutorials should definitely be part of your business case, because it has the ability to impact your revenue stream significantly. So the second type of tutorial that I'm definitely going to be looking at, and again, this is something that if you're a photographer who's confident in your skill sets and you're able to teach people about your skills, then you should be looking at as well. But I want to be doing workshops. I want to run workshops in New Zealand and internationally, but this is very dependable on the current states of COVID in New Zealand and also internationally. At the minute, I can't leave New Zealand without having to spend some time in isolation when I get back in a COVID isolation centre in New Zealand, and they are government run, and you have to pay for that before you leave, and they're not cheap. So at the minute, workshops is not part of my business plan for the next 12 months, but it could be for 24 months and longer. But I could be running workshops in New Zealand within the next 12 months, and I think that's something that's worth looking at, and it's something that I hope to set up in the future. So stay tuned for that. And the sixth revenue stream we're going to talk about is NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And this is something that is quite exciting. You know, there's some photographers that I follow and I'm looking at what they're doing on platforms like Foundation right now, and the money that they're making from NFTs, basically selling one-off digital versions of their work, and they're making a lot of money from it. And that's quite exciting. It's something that's quite innovative and new. But I've got some reservations about NFTs. There's two things that concern me right now. And the first thing is the environmental impact. And this is something that Ben Horn spoke about recently. Essentially, the carbon footprint of creating an NFT, of minting an NFT, is quite significant because of the computing power, the server requirements, and the energy to power those servers. Puts a bit of a cloud over NFTs in my mind, as it has with other people, about using them because of the environmental impact. But I think you could offset that carbon footprint with something else. But also I think there's other environmental factors that surround the art forms and photography that are also worth considering, like the manufacturing process around cameras and film, for example. So I think I could probably get past that. But the one that really worries me the most is the increased reporting around criminal activity in NFTs, and more specifically cryptocurrencies, which is used to purchase NFTs. Essentially, the police interest in NFTs is increasing because of the criminal activity that's associated with cryptocurrency. And this is something that really worries me. And I think this is something that worries me more than the environmental impact of NFTs. Essentially, somebody could purchase one of your NFTs or even one of my NFTs, and the source of that funding could come from a criminal activity that is so bad that it's not worth considering. If I'm seriously going to use NFTs as part of my revenue streams, I must research the criminal activity in cryptocurrency more, because I'm not comfortable with selling my work through NFTs if this criminal activity is true. So yeah, NFTs, it's exciting. It's something you might want to look at. You should be aware of the risks associated with it and the reports that people are making about it. And you must do your research if you are serious about NFTs. So the seventh revenue stream we're going to talk about is donations. Now, I think if you have a website and you are trying to create some money to fund your photography, or on your website you are actively working on blogs that provide tutorial-based information and you're looking at ways to create money from those blogs, then donations is an easy way to do that. You can quite easily put on your website a donation button. I have one on my website and it basically goes to PayPal, and somebody can choose to donate some money to me. It's not a big money maker from me, although I did recently receive one donation, and thank you to the person who donated that money to me. That was very, very warmly received, so thank you very much. But yeah, if you're looking to try and add something that creates a bit more revenue for you, then consider adding a donation button to your website. So the eighth revenue stream we're going to talk about is merchandise. So this is things like t-shirts and calendars, and this is something that I want to be able to offer on my website for sale. I think t-shirts is possibly one that I could set up quite easily. I'm not too sure about calendars just yet. There's possibly other things. If you've got any ideas, please leave some comments. That'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, t-shirts like this, I think I could set up quite easily. Not too sure what I would put on them. It requires some creativity on my part to be able to come up with some designs for the t-shirts. I quite like the idea of teaming up with a t-shirt fulfillment service, one that's got some good environmental business practices that I can use to offset some of the carbon footprint of photography. So that would be quite good to look at. So yeah, merchandise is something that I'm looking at, and it's something that if you're looking to create some revenue streams for your photography, then perhaps you should look at that as well. So the ninth and final one we're going to talk about is international travel. Now this is not really a revenue stream, it's more of a marketing tool, but I fully intend on traveling internationally to help raise my profile as a photographer, which will in turn result in increased revenue activity in the streams that I've identified here. So I definitely want to be able to travel internationally. I totally recognise that most of my fan base is in America and Canada, so I definitely want to be able to travel to those places, and also want to travel to South America. I'm really interested in Bolivia and Patagonia and Argentina, so we'd definitely quite like to go there. And we'd also quite like to go to Europe. I'm from the UK originally myself. I'm kind of gutted a bit now that I'm more into photography now, and I wasn't back then, because I probably would have travelled more through Europe when I was in the UK. But I would definitely like to go back to Europe and travel around through Europe, probably catching with some friends from home. So that'd be quite cool. So yeah, international travel is something that I think should be part of my business plan, and it's something that will help raise my profile. And if you're not traveling internationally as a photographer yourself and you're looking to improve your revenue streams, then it's definitely something that you should consider as well. So those are the 9 revenue streams of my business plan. I hope you found that useful. If you think I've missed anything, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think about some of the things that I should be focusing on to create revenue streams. I'm also interested in, if you were to spend money on a product of mine, what would that be? Please leave a comment. I'd really like to be able to set up some things I can start generating some income from the things that you really want. So please leave some comments on that as well. So that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I really hope the rest of your week goes well. Bye for now. Take care. See you soon.